Hi. We'll have to keep it short today because there are painters coming in, so I do not have a lot of time to talk about everything that I read in March. Now, luckily, then maybe I didn't read a lot in March, so I'll be talking about 4 books and I'll try to make it spiffy. The first book I read was Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. Now, despite this book being named after a character, I wouldn't necessarily call Olive Kitteridge like the main character of the book, but like the central figure, because all of the chapters in here are stories from different people, and these people are somehow always like either closely connected to Olive or distantly, like they just know her in passing. So all the people mentioned in the book are living in the same place, somewhere in Maine, and it's their life stories, it is things that are happening to them, it is all these very humane stories of life, what life might bring, what marriage could be like, what it is to have children that are growing up, and how you have to adapt or try to adapt to the different situations that appear. And I actually really enjoyed this book. It is beautifully written, it is really intense, but it is literary fiction, so it's not like your very fun read, something that you like pick up easily and just like enjoy reading. What am I talking about? What is it that I want to say? I want to say fast-paced. I'm just too hyped because I have to do this in a certain amount of time, and I'm not good at that. I don't want deadlines. But anyway, so I like this book. It was a really good one. The only sort of beef I have with this one is that most of the marriages in here are unhappy marriages, or something happens in those marriages, or people are unfaithful, which I know is probably part of reality, but I'm a romantic at heart, so I wanted to be I wanted to have a little more of like happy things maybe in here, but you know. About writing style, I think Elizabeth Strout is an unbelievable writer. She is doing this really well. I think, like, content-wise, you could compare her to like a Frederick Bachman or maybe even a Claire Keegan, but Claire Keegan is a bit more historic maybe sometimes. But where Claire Keegan has the power of fantastic language in which every word is exactly right, and Frederick Bachman has the power of putting humor next to all these maybe sort of sad things in life, finding the balance between those things. Olive Kitteridge is not necessarily totally up there with those writers, but I'm just mentioning them so you have like an idea where to place this kind of book. Then right after this one, I read Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout, which is like the sequel to the previous book. It's about the same kind of things. It's about some of the same people in the book before, and some new people that we haven't met yet. Also, yes, mainly the same things to say about this one. Beautifully written, intense to read sometimes, makes you think a lot about a lot of things. In this one, Olive is getting older as well, so you have a lot of feelings about getting old, feeling more fragile or scared maybe, and maybe not necessarily having thought about what it would be like once you get to that age. So yeah, that's what this one was about. And then the next book I read for my Japanese garden video, which I enjoyed a lot. I read Keira Knightley's I Love You Just the Same, which is a children's picture book, so it was quite fast to read. Now, Keira Knightley is the actual actress, and she wrote and drew the book. And I enjoyed this one a lot. It is about this little girl, and she got this baby sister now, and she was used to getting all the attention from her mom, and now her mom has to divide the attention, and she misses that, so she kind of wants her baby sister to be gone. But you know, in the story, you see how she deals with it. And I guess it's based on true life because Keira Knightley has 2 daughters, I think. Yeah, I looked it up. She has 2 little girls. So I think she actually wrote it for her kids or her oldest daughter. And it's very sweet. It's really a nice children's book to read. I enjoyed it. And then the last, but definitely not the least, book that I read this month, or the previous month, I should say, is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. Now, Know My Name is not something that I would usually pick up because this is an actual memoir. This is a true story, and I am very much a fiction reader. But this one was getting so many good reviews, and I saw people talking about it and saying it was so amazing. So yeah, I did pick it up, and it's a really intense, beautifully written book, and I cannot but recommend it. But I first have to tell you what it is about. So it is about Chanel Miller, who at first, when everything happened to her that is described in this book, was using a fake name, or was, you know, called Emily Doe, because she wanted to keep everything away from her and her family, well, at least like the press and questions from everyone, because Chanel Miller was a victim of sexual assault. And this is described, but not like as for entertainment value or anything in a book, but the main story is about dealing with the aftermath of that, of dealing with the legal system and how it works for victims and how difficult it is to make a stand as a sexual assault victim, and the way that you are conceived, like on social media, and how people think about you. Things like how consumption of alcohol usually is like maybe a good thing for the perpetrator, because if he consumed alcohol, it's like, oh, how he didn't really know where his limits were, or where he had to draw the line or whatever. But if the victim consumed alcohol, that's a negative thing for the victim, because, well, you know, she consumed alcohol, so she probably maybe consented, or didn't really know what she was doing anymore, or, you know, it's not necessarily only about that, definitely not only about that, but it's about all these conceptions that exist. It's about her life, what she had to deal with, what she had to how she had to pick herself up, how she had to confront her family, talk with her family, how they feel, because of course they are victims too in a case like this, and how it took a couple of years to get through this. But you know, you never totally get through this, but also the support she received. So yeah, and the thing that sticks with me most is the writing, because she is an amazing writer. This is a wonderfully written book, and I was at first surprised by the high rating that this book was getting on like the apps that I use, like Goodreads and Fable. But it deserves it. I think almost everybody who has read this book is giving it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars. So yeah, I would recommend you reading this if you are ever into reading a memoir, if you are ever into reading the true story about a woman and what she went through. If that is something that speaks to you, then you should definitely read this. This would be required reading. Definitely. Okay, so that's it. That was my March. I had a lot of work to do in March. That is why I only got through these. But I hope you liked this video anyway. And I hope to see you soon in another one. Bye!